Oh, hello. Hi there. Hope you can hear me. This is Joyce here. And if you're joining us now, welcome. And if you do watch a replay after this, you'd like to ask me a question or reach out to me, then please feel free to do so in the chat or the comments, and I'll be sure to pick it up. It's just me here today. So I will try and pick up your chats or questions after this live. So, just a short intro from me. I'm Joyce Marketing Tech. We're a one stop shop for affordable mobile apps and SEO. And my team and I, we help independent as well as small and medium sized business generate return on their app investment in 90 days without needing thousands of app downloads, spending crazy money on advertising, or spamming lots of people. Just give me a second. Let me just double check that I am indeed going live. If someone can let me know if I'm live, that would be fantastic. Just give me a sec. Okay, here I am. I'm live. Apologies there. Just checking because there's usually a time lag there between me going live and the event actually opening up or popping up on the screen. So, as I was saying, we help independent, small, and medium sized businesses generate return on their app investment in 90 days without needing thousands of app downloads, without spending crazy money on advertising or spamming loads of people. So, in this live, hope to be talking about showing you some stats of app push notifications and compare that with email marketing stats and how you can get better results with both channels, with both email marketing as well as app push notifications. So, first, we're going to be looking at some email usage stats, and then we'll have a look at how we measure push notification and email marketing, taking the global averages as a stat. Oh, hello, Tim. Thank you for joining me. Tim from Sydney's here. Okay, so we're going to look at these two types of stats, email versus push notifications, and then we'll compare the two statistics. But I'm not going to bore you too much stats here. I just want to show you quickly the comparisons, so that will give you a perspective on what we're dealing with here in terms of the two channels, the two marketing channels. And then lastly, we're going to be talking about ways in which push notifications combined with email marketing can improve your marketing outcomes. So I'm going to throw some ideas at you at how we can do that. So I'm going to share with you this slide. I hope you can see that. Right. So essentially, this slide is looking at consumer stats, and it's compiled by a global consumer survey by Aship. Aship is a company that helps it helps brands to master mobile app experiences through some research and data that they share with their audience. So this slide shows how consumers perceive email marketing nowadays. And this slide can be quite revealing there. So there are some small differences you can see across different countries, UK, US, France, just slight differences there. But by and large, you can see that 48% of the respondents here have said that they always or they often ignore email marketing from brands that they subscribe to. That's 40%. So that's taking into account the stat always and often. So always and often. So 48%. This is a global average, of course. As I said, slight differences across countries, but all in 48% of the respondents said that they tend to ignore email marketing. So it's not reflected on this slide, but the report, the very same report I mentioned, goes on to say that 41% would say they simply unsubscribe, in which case you lose them altogether. And 35% would delete emails when they scan who it's from. So they'll delete it if it's from someone that they don't want to be receiving emails anymore. And 34% would actually delete emails just by scanning the subject line. So there's a bit of behavioral stats there, in addition to what you see in front of you. So what can we conclude from there? Email, I mean, it's still a channel that many businesses would communicate with their customers and the prospects, but we can no longer rely on a spray and pray approach to email marketing, where you have a large unsegmented email list and you just rely on a low single digit conversion rate just simply to get you through. That's no longer enough. In fact, there's another piece of survey from Gartner that analyzed marketing emails from 2019 to 2020 by industry. And Gartner found that on average, only 9% of emails feature some sort of targeting or some sort of filtering across industries. That's quite a shocking piece of stat. I mean, email marketing has been around for decades, but only 9% of emails actually have some sort of filtering or targeting device. And that just goes to show 91% of the emails that we all receive on average have no targeting or no segmentation in them. So the potential is there. It's just that we don't use it enough. There is a huge potential there to stand out from the crowd by being simply just being a bit more sophisticated about targeting our messages to individuals there. And I'm guilty of that as well, of not targeting my email list enough. But with push notifications, you'll be able to collect much more first party data on customer preferences, which will then allow you to provide more relevant content to your customers. And I'm going to talk a bit more about this later on. So you collect first party data through your app. First party data simply means you're collecting data directly from your customers or your prospects. There is no intermediary. You're not collecting third party data off another person's website. It's first party data you collect directly from your customers. Um, with collecting this first party data, you can actually dictate what you want to collect from your customers. You can then segment the preferences that you've collected, the data that you've collected through the app, through your first party data. You can then use that to inform your email marketing and segment it much more easily. And that way, you also mitigate the risk of getting unsubscribes and losing them altogether. And so that's a bit of a win-win situation for you and your customers. Won't you agree? So great. So we've shared a little bit of stats on email. I'm just going to talk about terminologies that we're going to be using. There are two terminologies so we're going to start with mobile app terminologies, which we commonly use. So one is the opt-in rate for mobile apps. That just simply refers to the users who are actively giving the permission to be notified for specific purposes, such as promotions and marketing. So that's what we mean by the opt in rate. And in terms of mobile app, that just means the number of people who receive push notifications from the app itself. And again, I'm going to refer back to Airship's 2021 push notification benchmark report. You can get this report easily just by Googling that. If you like, please reach out to me and I'll send you a copy of that report as well. So, according to Airship, the opt in rates for app push notifications on Android phones has a medium opt in rate of 81%. That's a pretty high opt-in rate. And on the iOS phones, the medium opt-in rate is 51%. You can find the stat somewhere in the report. I'm just not showing it here in this live, but it's somewhere on that report itself. There's some charts to show you that. Now, why is there an 81% opt-in rate and a 51% opt-in rate for between Android phones and iOS phones? Well, the difference in the opt-in rates, higher opt-in rate on the Android phones, can be explained by the fact that iOS users they must actively consent to push notifications. So, if you notice on your iOS phones, there's always a pop-up message asking you for permission to receive push notifications on each and every one of the apps that you download. Whereas on Android phones, that's not always the case. It just depends on the make of the Android phone, and therefore because of that, you do have a much higher opt-in rate from Android phones because Android phones automatically enables push notifications. So with Android, it's more of an opt-in process, it's not an opt-out process. So the second terminology I'm going to talk about is the CTR or the click-through rate. So this is kind of the same as a click-through rate on an email marketing campaign. So it just means the number of clicks on a push message, push notification, and that's a good way to track how engaged your app users are. And so, commensurating with the opt in rates for Android and iOS, you have 81% and 51%, I mentioned earlier. You have in Android average push notification of 4.6% CTR. So, click through rate is 4.6. On the iOS, it's 3.4%. Now, let's go back to our terminology for email marketing. So let's go back to email marketing, which is the second slide I just want to share with you. I do apologize if it's a bit small. I hope you can see that. But I'm just going to go through with you some of the things that are mentioned here, which are important. So click-through rate for email marketing. So global averages here. So it's not called a click-through rate. I do apologize again. It's the open rate for emails. There's a bit of terminology difference there. Open rates for email marketing. So this is again some stats from a Smart Insights article. The Smart Insights article also refers to stats from Get Response survey. So this is actually a piece of survey from Get Response showing you the email stats, the global averages, the open rate, and also the click-through rate for email marketing. So I'm just going to take the global stat here. You can see at the bottom all. So the global stat open rate is 25% roundabouts, and the click-through rate is 2.73%. So the open rate in this case for email marketing just simply means number of people who open a specific email. And that's just a standard metric that people use. Click-through rate, 2.73%. On this stat, you can see that there are differences according to industry. So it might be useful to point out that in certain industries, such as the education industry, highlighted in yellow, internet marketing, and also the these two industries, education, internet marketing, got rather lower than normal open rates and also click-through rates. So 21% there in terms of education and 1.75% click-through rates there. So these two industries in particular are quite low. In contrast with that, you get the automotive industry, so you get a open rate of 30% and a CTR of 4% there. So that's marked in green. And also pretty high open rates and click-through rates for the restaurant and food industry, which is around about 30%. And about 4%, close to 4% their click-through rates for these two industries. So it does vary industry by industry, but I just want to highlight the global average is, again, 25%. You can see here at the bottom, and the click-through rate is 2.73%. So, in short, just coming back to the stats I've just mentioned, email 25% versus push notification, which is 81% for Android, 51% for iOS. So, obviously, opt in rates are much higher from push notifications coming from a mobile app. And then if you compare click through rate for email marketing, it's 2.73%. And the click through rates for push notifications is 4.6% for Android, and for iOS is 3.4%. So these stats are collected around about the same time from various sources. So you can see, obviously, push notifications do have a higher engagement than email marketing in general. Right. So here, the last bit of my talk. Thank you for joining us again. I just want to go through our chat quickly, if that's all right. Thanks for joining us, Nuria. Grunt, it's good to see you back again. Nurul, and we have someone who made a comment. I guess the biggest challenge would be getting people to download your app. Most people don't want another app. That's quite a common comment that I hear people saying. So there are different ways you can get people to download an app. In fact, I'm just going to talk about them now, actually. So that comment is very, very timely. Thank you for that. And Tim says push notifications have a much higher uh, response than email marketing. Thank you, Tim. That's exactly right. That's what we're looking based on the stats that seem to tell us that. So now, right, how do you combine these two channels together? I'm not saying to ditch email marketing. Email marketing is still staple for many businesses here today. But I'm just saying you can combine these two channels. These are just two separate marketing channels. Combine them to help you get a much higher response rate. So I'm just going to talk through a couple of examples of how we can do that. So when you launch your app, um, the question is, how do you get people to actually download the app, and what's the benefit for them to download the app? So you can use email marketing, and we do have a client who's done that perfectly well, can show examples of how they've done that. So when you launch the app, you want to tell the world that you've got an app. You can use your email list to do that. So using your existing email list and a landing page which you've created from your website, you can get your email list of customers and your prospects to download the app. Now, why would they want to download that? Obviously, there needs to be a very good reason for them to do that. And typically, from experience, it shows that some of the reasons you can give them are exclusive access to events, product launches that you have, new product launch, or any special offers that you have, rewards, loyalty, or you can explain to them the ease of purchase. It's much easier to buy things. Transaction is a more seamless process to buy things on the app that they're not perhaps not going to get from the website or from their social media. So these are pretty good reasons for them to want to download the app because they already know you, they know your brand, they just want to find this is just another way for them to interact with your brand. So this way you can also re-engage your email list as well. So you may have an email list that's perhaps getting a little bit old and you're looking for more new content. So by launching an app, a mobile app, this is a good way, a good reason for you to re-engage your email list there. And once you re engage your email list, there are lots of things that you can possibly be doing. And consistency, again, is a key word that you hear all the time, and that applies to app mobile push notifications as well. And to be able to use it consistently, but providing regular high value touch points for your customers through push notifications, but without overdoing it. When I say overdoing it, I don't mean to send a push notification every day, but in the beginning, it would be good to send a push notification, test your audience, send it once a week with high value touch points there. So something good that you have to offer. And that way you get more mileage or more leverage from your other marketing activities through your push notifications as well. So feeds through each other. So what are the high value touch points that you could you could send out to your app users or your email users for that matter. So with your email newsletters, if you do send out still a regular email newsletter or email updates, you can send out a push notifications alerting your users to look out for a regular email coming to the inbox, or an in-app message center. That's just a message depository on your app itself. So you up your response rate that way through your email marketing. So just highlighting to them that there's new content popping up, and if it's an email newsletter, you can use push notification to alert them of that. You can also use pro tips or how to series on your email to your email users, a series of how to emails, providing, for example, tutorials on different using different parts of your app, or accessing your service or product from the app. So this could be a series of emails that you'd be sending out, telling them how to use the app to benefit them, or to attract them to use the app. So more content ideas again for your email marketing here. The third thing is you could use the app to collect customer preferences, and this is really, really key. I touched on that earlier on, collecting customer preferences, first party data, all that apps can do very well. What sort of preferences can you collect? You can find out what they like, what they'll buy, what their buying preferences, how often they wish to receive comms from you, and in what format would they like to receive your comms. I mean, not everyone may want to get push notifications, some may still want email, and some may want to be connected via social media. All of this is fine. You can collect all of this data from a mobile app and through a push notification. Now, once you collect all of this data from the app, all of this data can then be fed into your email marketing, and that's going to help you segment your email marketing a lot more this time. And you can do this quite easily. This process can be automated via the app as well. In short, you can add push notifications as channel to all your marketing campaigns, not just email marketing alone. You can combine push notifications, in fact, with email marketing, with videos, with your in-app messages. On your landing page, you can take people from an app push notification to your landing page that you've created. If you have a campaign that you're running on a website, through the landing page, etc., etc. So just a couple of ideas there on how you can combine the two channels, email marketing and your push notifications from your mobile app. Now, again, some of these ideas I've culled from an Airship article, giving some ideas on how you can run these push notification campaigns or multi-channel campaigns. So if you want a copy of this, again, let me know and I'll send it across to you. So I guess we've come to the end of our live here about push notifications versus email marketing, and how you can nurture your customers and get better results from both channels. I hope it's been helpful, and I look forward to hearing your further feedback. So thank you guys. Thanks guys and girls for following me and for watching this live. And I'll see you back really